Well, thousands of homeowners in the most flood-prone areas of northern New South Wales will be eligible to raise, repair, retrofit or even sell their home to the government under a major buyback program worth $800 million. The Joint Commonwealth New South Wales voluntary scheme will support around 2,000 homeowners in the 7 Northern Rivers local government areas. Joining me now live is Lismore MP Janelle Saffin. Thank you for joining us. What's your reaction to this news?
Look, it's an historic day. It's a good day for Lismore, but the Lismore electorate and the Northern Rivers. We wanted the option of having buybacks so people could feel safe and also raising their houses and retrofitting so they'd be flood resistant. And as I said today, this is a down payment, this is a start, and it gives people choice, it gives them clarity, and it gives them that safety. And people are asking questions already. I understand there's over 150 people have registered already on the Northern Rivers Reconstruction Corporation website. And the next step will be how we live with our floodplains when, we have some retreat from it. What do we do to make it still livable right across our community? But look, it's a good day. It's the first big program like this in New South Wales, and I really thank the Prime Minister and the Premier for that this morning.
Typically, buybacks do take quite a long time to implement. What about in the short term? Is this the solution, or what more can be done?
Look, we have the CSIRO working with NEMA, the National Emergency Management Authority, and they're looking at what we can do short term, some mitigation, but they're looking longer term across the whole catchment. And we welcome that. And none of this is going to be fixed overnight, even though we'd like it to be. And I said that today, it's all going to take time, but this is a start. And I call it it's adaptation, and we have to adapt to this wild weather and indeed, with climate change, but it's also adapting to living in an area where it does flood a lot. But the point I want to make is this wasn't a flood, it was beyond a flood. It was like an inland tsunami that came through our area and hit us and really wiped us out in north, south, some parts of East Lismore, but other areas, Murwillumbah, Tweed, Coraki, Woodburn, so many places. It was just really off the Richter scale what happened.
The government says that this scheme will be offered to the most vulnerable residents. Are you worried that some people will miss out on this assistance?
Look, I'd already dealt with that before it was announced and have absolute guarantees there's flexibility because there's always someone, on the line and they don't quite fit in here or there, and there will be case-by-case basis with that. And there'll be that flexibility when the Northern Rivers Reconstruction Corporation rolls it out. And some people just don't feel safe. Some people want to be where they are. They want it raised. It is voluntary buybacks and voluntary house raising. And I want to make that point. And people ask me, locals, are there relocatables? Yes. In some cases, you'll be able to take your house with you to some land. And the corporation's working on that now, identifying land around right across the Northern Rivers where people can go so that they're still in their postcode.
Well, that was going to be what I was going to ask you next. So have you been given a guarantee then that if a person chooses to relocate, that they will still be able to be within a short distance of the area that they had been living in?
Look, they have, and that's why the NRRC, as we call it, is working through, I think, again, over 150, same number, but 150 expressions of interest for land and land that will be affordable. So that's $100 million allocated to start with them. So, we've been thinking of all these things for a while, having those discussions, and today was the day it's announced, and now the NRRC will be on the ground with everybody, working close with the community, close collaboration to make sure everybody's involved in this. It's a big, big program.
It certainly is a big program. How do you think that the community will respond to this announcement? You said 150 people have already signed up, but what's the feeling amongst community members? Do they still want to see Lismore rebuilt?
Of course they do. It's our home. And, and there are other parts across the electorate, that I represent, even though it's called Lismore, it's a big one, and Murwillumbah and Tweed Valley, other areas. And they do want to see it rebuilt, and they want it built back better. And I've put forward that we now need economic and environmental recovery. And in its broader sense, economic, environmental, we look at the whole picture and we work out what to do. As O'Kane and Fuller said in their flood report, the O'Kane and Fuller report, we treat our floodplains as assets. And there's some work being done on that already.
There's reports out today that flood victims will be hit with a tax of some sort for emergency payments provided to those businesses that have been devastated for clean-up and rebuilding by the federal government. Have you been given an indication that this is the case?
No, I haven't, but the payments that people get, there's grants for, back home commercial landlords, for farmers, for businesses indirectly impacted, 10,000. Nothing has changed in the criteria at all that existed over a long period of time.
Good to hear. Janelle Saffin, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you from here in Tenterfield, Torrington.